Hello, my little lambs, and welcome back to the slaughterhouse. It's me, Phoebe, and I'm back with another redesign for the Steven Universe redesign series. It's good. Today's victim is Sugilite. So originally it was supposed to be fluorite, but I genuinely could not come up with anything for Floret's design. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, all in my head was just like centipede or like caterpillar, and I just couldn't. Like, I feel like I can't really draw one, and then also as well, it's like I feel like it'd be so hard for me to draw clothes and stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, I can draw alien baddies, but I can't draw completely alien baddies. If that that makes sense. So I am so sorry to my fave poly relationship in a cartoon series, but I was unsuccessful with redesigning fluorite for now. Maybe in the future, like, inspiration will hit me, but honestly, a lot of inspiration hit me when I spun again for Sugilite. So yeah, and I honestly had like a really fun time thinking and designing for Sugilite. Like, it was, oh my god, like the ideas just like poured out of me, like, genuinely. And then also as well, I really heavily based Sugilite's redesign off Rico Nasty. Now, Rico Nasty will never know. I talked about this in my bakery story ASMR video, but Rico Nasty will never know how much her Tiny Desk concert got me through Arkham Knight. She will never know that. She will never know that. Like, genuinely, I would like listen to Lethal, which my favorite song in the album Lethal is Son of a Gun. I love Son of a Gun. Oh my god, it just like, I feel like it also describes me perfectly. But anyway, very much I feel like it's giving very me energy. But yeah, no, and first and foremost, we all know who voices Sugilite, and we don't like her, so I figured, hey, in my opinion, Rico Nasty's the best next option. If, Steven Universe somehow picks back up, but, the story's done, whatnot, whatever. But yeah, heavily based off Rico Nasty. I changed practically everything about Sugilite and with the redesign. Like, obviously, this is like the beginning stages. You guys are literally just seeing me do like line art right now and everything. But yeah, I changed so much of Sugilite's design. I, like, again, heavily based her off Rico Nasty and like her style and what she typically like wears and stuff. And I feel like I did pretty good. Like, the hair is my favorite part. Like, I genuinely love that I just went for like a mullet with like the Liberty spikes. I believe that's what they're called. With the Liberty spikes, because I don't know, to me Sugilite gives me like more like rocker chick, and Rico Nasty is like metal rap rocker chick that I just really love. Like, oh my god, like, I can go on and on about how much I love Rico Nasty and how much, oh my god, Rico Nasty, if you somehow ever see this, girl, I love you. Oh my god. Yes. Anyway, and Rico Nasty is like so pretty. So yeah, and I'm actually really happy with this design. For my last redesign, I did not my garnet redesign, but for the redesign before this that I just did, it was oh my gosh, for Amai Otoyaka for the Yandere Simulator series that I'm also doing. I went for my old style in that one, and then this one I went for my new style. And I'm happy that I kind of went with my newish style, because from the last one you guys see, or if you are somehow watching this in the order of all my previous redesigns, I used like a brush that didn't have much like line weight to it, stuff like that. But yeah, no, I feel like I did so well with this, and I feel like my improvement with my art is really showing through this. So yeah, and I really love like the color scheme I went for this. And you guys are gonna see the color scheme at the end, but the color scheme to me is like, oh my god, like, I feel like I truly ate with this. Like I fear I did so good, but yeah, no, I love this redesign. You guys are seeing that at least in the sketch part, I have like little star patches like on the knees and stuff. And with Sugilite, I went for like obviously like the very punk, very rocker, I just kind of, I don't know, she just gave me like rocker when I first saw her and everything like that. And hey, like she's giving it now, and also the pose with the thumbs going down. It's from like one of the scenes in Rico Nasty's Son of a Gun music video, which I rewatch heavily. So if anyone ever doubts me about how much I love Rico Nasty, I love you, Rico Nasty. And God, I wish I could buy your merch and just, oh my God, and see you on tour. But unfortunately, life gets in the way. But anyways, if you guys are new to this series and you don't know what we usually do, because, I'm done talking about the redesign for now, I read the wiki page of each character and we get to learn a little more about them. So today, obviously, we're going to read Sugilite's Wikipedia page. So let's get into it. So Sugilite, her species is gem, weapons is a flail, sex sexless, gender pronouns she, her, hair dark purple black, eyes dark lilac, gem type fusion, components amethyst, ruby, and sapphire, aka garnet, occupations guardian, alignment, crystal gems, friend Steven Universe, first appearance Coach Steven, music theme synchronized Sugilite. And then voice actor, I'm not going to talk about the voice actor because frankly I don't like her. I haven't really, I only liked her when I was like a kid, that before all that BS came on and everything. Like everyone was such a stan of her and whatever, and I was just like, girl, she's gross. I don't know why we're still supporting her, but okay, like that just shows me what kind of person you are. You know what I mean? But anyway, Sugilite is the fusion of amethyst and garnet, and by extension, ruby and sapphire. She made her debut in Coach Steven. Appearance: Sugilite is a colossal and menacing fusion with a stocky, bulky build and 4 arms, each pair seeming to share a shoulder joint, with black markings on them. She features 4 medium lilac eyes located under a strong brow and a 5th one above it. Her mouth is twisted into a grin and filled with sharp pointy teeth. She has a giant plume of spiky dark purple black hair, kept in an untamed style similar to amethyst, but messier. Her skin color is lavender like amethyst. In close-ups of her, she appears to have purple fingernails painted to appear as gemstones themselves. Her gemstones are located on her chest and on the palms of her, on the hands of her arms. In her debut episode, Ruby and Sapphire's gemstones were located on her upper arms, whilst as her post-regeneration, they were located on her lower palms. Okay. For me, when I was redesigning Sugilite, I made her more mid-sized. Like I didn't make her like skinny, like I guess like that I draw typically. And I'm trying to get better at with like different body types and stuff. So I wanted to give like a Sugilite like a mid-size kind of like athletic-ish frame, because I don't know. And also to me, I feel like I low-key based like her body type off Drew Offwallow, because Drew Offwallow is just like a strong looking woman, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm jealous. Like I feel like Drew Offwallow could absolutely just like, I don't know, she could destroy me. And Loki would let her. Drew Offwallow, if you ever see this, hi. Somehow, some way, Like, yeah, I think I heavily based like my Sugilite redesign off Rico Nasty mainly, and then like a little bit of Drew Offwallow, because I'm like, I love Drew Offwallow so much. Yeah. So, pre-regeneration debut in Coach Steven, she has magenta violet skin, wears a ripped and violet and purple bodysuit similar to Garnet's, and a dark lilac visor covering her lower eyes. Her bodysuit has tears in it that are similar to amethyst. She wears leggings similar to amethyst, but are split between 2 colors, purple and black, similar to how Garnet's leggings were split between colors red and black in her debut regeneration. Her leggings also have star cutout shapes on them, similar to amethyst. She also wears magenta violet shoes, which are also similar style to amethyst. Post regeneration in parentheses previous. After after Ruby and Sapphire's regeneration in Jailbreak and Amethyst regeneration in Reformed, Sugilite receives a new design, as seen in Cry for Help. Her top is now colored a lighter violet and a darker purple, and the colors are now evenly split. Her leggings and star-shaped patches are also no longer ripped, with the left star colored black and the right one colored dark violet. Her hair became longer, gaining an even darker shade of purplish black, and her skin takes on a more lavender hue. Her waistline is also slightly a lighter color. Ruby and Sapphire's gemstones are located on her lower palms. And then as for the third regeneration, Sugilite's current regeneration design is not seen in full due to her shape shifting into Steven during the events of Snow Day. Her visor seems similar to Alexandrite's, now has a point in the middle resembling Garnet's star-shaped visor and covers her fifth eye. It appears to be much lighter, almost silver coloration, though this may be due to the lighting. She wears Ruby and Sapphire's wedding rings on her lower fingers, near their respective gemstones. Oh, that's actually really cute. I didn't notice that, actually. Like, when I was watching Steven Universe, like, I didn't... it was in Steven Universe Future, right? I haven't really watched that, but I do think I watched that episode. But anyways, let's get into her personality. In a quote, it says, "I can be brash and you can be reckless, and we both can get carried away." Garnet to Amethyst and Cry for Help. Sugilite cares for herself, first and foremost. Though she carries out missions effectively, she has problems with impulse control and does not hesitate to use her power for personal gain. She combines Garnet's headstrong, unwavering nature with Amethyst's indulgence, as well as her aggressive and dangerous, as well as her negative attitude towards authority. The resulting personality is a volatile mix that is highly aggressive and dangerous to everyone she encounters. This causes at least one peerless situation wherein Sugilite, enraged that she was left behind during a mission and asked to unfuse, viciously attack and severely injures Pearl. She seems to possess some of Ruby and Sapphire's feelings towards separating. She also appears to be cold, like Sapphire can be, containing Ruby's anger issues and Amethyst's recklessness. All the Sugilites constitute gems contribute to her general temperament, though the similarity in the nature of Amethyst and Ruby seemingly overwhelms Sapphire. Though much like Sapphire, Sugilite refuses to change her mind when it's set on something, not wanting to diffuse. Okay. I didn't know that she didn't, like, she was like, no, I don't want to, well, I did know that she was kind of like that, but it didn't click in my head that it was, like, also because, she's Ruby and Sapphire too. She's Ruby and Sapphire too, Like, it didn't click in my head, What's not clicking, Steven? What's not clicking? Sorry, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper right now. It is so good. I love Dr. Pepper. Anyway, Garnet states in Guide to the Crystal Gems that Amethyst's lack of inhibition and her own raw power makes Sugilite so fun to be, causing the fusion to be hard to separate. Despite her destructive nature, she does not seem to retain an attachment to Steven, refraining from marking him as a direct target during her rampages. Ironically, she inadvertently caused a chunk of debris to fly off at Pearl, who deflects it and hits Steven in the face. Sugilite appears to want to impress Steven with her strength, asking if he wanted to see something cool when summoning Garnet's gauntlets and Amethyst's whip to form her flail. I actually remember that, and I remember when she first did that, I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, in a lesbian way. Actually, at the time that I was watching that, I still identified as bisexual. Even though the closet was glass, and I should have seen it a lot sooner. Would have saved me a lot of trouble, honestly. Anyway, let me see how long her history is real quick. Oh, it's not that long, actually. Actually, I think this is going to be the shortest video in this series, which I'm actually really surprised by because I typically go for a lot longer. Right now, we're at, like, at least in recording this, at literally 5 seconds to being, like, 15 minutes and whatnot, so that's kind of crazy to me. But anyway, I don't know. I guess I said all I needed to say too about like my Sugilite redesign, and you guys are seeing it, like how I changed like the color palette and the decisions with, the design and everything like that. And I don't know. I guess I just made her more punk, more rocker, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But anyways, let's get into the history. Coach Steven. Sugilite first formed in this episode at the communication hub. Garnet remarks that they need Sugilite to destroy the hub, asking Amethyst to fuse with her, though Pearl greatly objects, speaking about Sugilite's instability and how she should fuse with Pearl instead to be careful. Garnet declines. She and Amethyst complete the fusion dance, and Sugilite appears. She asks Steven if he wants to see something cool, to which he replies yes, prompting Sugilite to combine Garnet's gauntlets and Amethyst's whip into her flail. She begins to destroy the hub with her flail, but when a rock hits Steven, Pearl and Steven warp back to the temple, leaving Sugilite back at the communication hub, promptly before a rock lands on the warp pad, breaking it and stranding Sugilite. The next morning, Sugilite, having walked back to the beach from the communication hub, arrives at the temple, breaking Greg and Steven's gym. Pearl says Garnet and Amethyst are losing themselves in the fusion, to which Sugilite responds with, she is herself, and she is sick of being separated. A fight between Sugilite and Pearl ensues, though despite Sugilite's size and sheer strength, Pearl is able to outsmart her. Sugilite chases Pearl up a hill, and Pearl uses her spear to break the ground underneath her feet. Sugilite falls to the ground, and her flail flops atop her head, causing her to unfuse. In Cry for Help, Sugilite next appears in a non-speaking role, while initially being benched by Garnet after she finds out Pearl had been repeatedly fixing the communication hub in order to fuse with her into sardonyx. Garnet orders Amethyst to fuse with her so they can destroy the hub once and for all. They fuse, and Sugilite appears, using a wind-up punch and destroying the communication hub in one hit, before supposedly unfusing, though it can be assumed no brute force was required to get Sugilite to unfuse, as the next shot shows Garnet and Amethyst separated and back at the temple. Know Your Fusion. On Sardonyx tonight, one of the segments Smoky Quartz partakes in is You Like That Little Man? You Like That Little Man? Smoky Quartz uses a replica of Sugilite's flail to strike a machine with a voiceover of Sugilite on the machine, taunting them for not striking it hard enough. Sardonyx also breaks the fourth wall by asking whether Sugilite's voice actor requires to be paid, despite not actually appearing to voice in any new lines for the fusion. God damn. Is that shade? I hope that's shade. In Save the Light, in battles, Garnet and Amethyst can fuse into Sugilite. She has two attacks, Mega Quake and Tornado Fire Punch. Interestingly, despite Amethyst's reformation in Crack the Whip, Sugilite's design does not appear to reflect this, and instead appears to keep her design from Cry for Help. In Snow Day, Garnet and Amethyst shapeshift into Steven to form Sugilite, form Sugilite, who is also shapeshifted into Steven in order to catch Steven while playing Steven Tag. They unfuse immediately afterward, so Garnet and Pearl can fuse into a Steven-formed Sardonyx. Abilities, and then there's a quote right there, is that all you got? You think that's enough to beat Sugilite on her fighting skills and Coach Steven? I'm assuming she gets cut off. Which, fair enough. Sugilite possesses standard gem abilities: Bubbling, Shapeshifting, Fusion, Regeneration, Agelessness, Gravity Shifting, Weapon Summoning, Photokinesis, Gem Storage, and Superhuman Strength and Durability. Though not as acrobatic and nimble as Opal, Sugilite makes up for it by sheer size. Her long legs allow her to cover much ground quickly and leap long distances. Sugilite also has no known weaknesses except her recklessness. In Coach Steven, she is only defeated when Pearl outsmarts her by luring up her hill behind the Crystal Temple. She then used her spear to trip Sugilite, causing her to tumble down the side of the temple and damage herself with her own flail, thus knocking her out and separating the fusion. Fusions. When fused with Pearl, they form Alexandrite. When fused with Pearl and Rose Quartz, they form Obsidian. When fused with Pearl and Steven, they form the hybrid fusion Obsidian. Skill set. Flail proficiency. I was gonna say proficiency. Proficiency. Her weapon is an enormous flail that uses Amethyst's whip as a chain and Garnet's clasp gauntlets as a bludgeon. Using this flail, Sugilite easily smashes through buildings, and reducing a defunct gem communications hub to rubble in a short period. The sheer size of Sugilite's flail, combined with the strength of its chain, gives it much longer range than other gem melee weapons. Melee weapons? Melee? I never know how to say that. Much like Amethyst's whip. Natural abilities: immense strength and durability. Sugilite is immensely strong and durable, being a juggernaut-style fighter. Sugilite uses her sheer strength to smash objects and size to overpower and crush any opponents. Shapeshifting, as shown in Snow Day, Sugilite is capable of shapeshifting. This is shown when she shapeshifts into classic Steven during a game of Steven Tag. Unique abilities: Wind Up Punch. In Cry for Help, rather than forming her flail, Sugilite twists her two arms together and delivers a devastating punch. And then there's like a whole gif here showing Sugilite's Wind Up Punch, which is actually, I'm watching that again and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I forgot about relationships. How long is that? Oh, not that long actually either. Sorry, the whole thing is just, it's probably gonna refresh on me. No, it's not. Okay. Save the Light, Mega Quake. Sugilite will lift both fists into the air, then punch to the ground, which unleashes a large earthquake to deal damage to enemies, requires 4 star points to use. Tornado Fire Punch. Sugilite will charge up a powerful punch. Once the punch is initiated, it will deal massive damage to enemies and apply the burn effect, requires 5 star points to use. Unfuse. Like all the other fusions, Sugilite can unfuse to Garnet and Amethyst at any time the player wishes to. Relationships. Steven Universe. You like that little man? Sugilite to Steven and Coach Steven. Like the rest of the Crystal Gems, Sugilite holds an attachment to Steven. Steven appears to be the only person Sugilite treats with any respect. She avoids targeting him in all her attacks and wants to impress him, flaunting Amethyst's exhibitionist nature combined with both Amethyst and Garnet's care for him. Similarly, Steven looked up to Sugilite and aspired to be strong like her, although he is shocked that Sugilite destroyed Greg's makeshift gym and encouraged Pearl to fight her when she went berserk and cry for help. However, Steven was eager for Garnet and Amethyst to fuse again. In Snow Day, Sugilite attempted to catch Steven during a game of Steven Tag by using her flail, almost crushing him, but to no avail. Amethyst and Garnet, in quotes, or the quote, Garnet, think about this. You and Amethyst can be a little unstable when your personalities combine. Pearl and Coach Steven. Sugilite's components gems, according to Pearl and Coach Steven, Garnet and Amethyst's personalities can become unstable whenever they are fused as Sugilite. This predicament came true later on. However, Sugilite starts going berserk and refuses to separate into Garnet and Amethyst, even going as far as to fight and severely injure Pearl in the process. This would likely stem from Ruby and Sapphire's devotion to being together as Garnet, combined with Amethyst's lack of inhibition, which results in an unstable, dangerous fusion, making her component gems unwilling to unfuse and remain whole as Sugilite. However, it would seem likely that as for Cry for Help, Jesus. Garnet and Amethyst are able to remain more stable when fused as Sugilite and are able to diffuse more easily. As after she destroyed the communication hub for a final time, Garnet and Amethyst are later seen unfused. This is even further proven further in Snow Day, as they are seen fused together for a few seconds and easily diffuse after that. Pearl, in another quote, you think you're something? You ain't nothing. Sugilite to Pearl and Coach Steven. Sugilite holds a deep contempt for Pearl stemming from Amethyst's rivalry towards her. While Pearl feels that Amethyst and Garnet will lose themselves the next time they fuse, this turns out to be accurate because Sugilite was incredibly reluctant to unfuse, even fighting Pearl to remain to do so. She would have defeated Pearl if not for Steven's encouragement. Pearl is also jealous of Sugilite because of her strength, which is mirrored in Amethyst's jealousy towards Sardonyx and her gracefulness. And then there's her appearances and whatnot. And then we're here at trivia. Sugilite is the first crystal gem to act as an antagonist, and the second one being Bismuth. Her motivation does not seem to include protecting Earth or humans, instead impressing Steven, and general destructiveness. Despite being an unstable fusion, she has a distant voice instead of having a mix of her components in a more humanoid body shape. Alexandria also shares these traits. Sugilite is the first seen fusion of 3 different gem types, being made of a quartz, a ruby, and a sapphire. According to Ben Levin, Alexandrite is, in theory, taller than Sugilite, due to Alexandrite being composed of 4 gems. Sugilite demonstrates that when multiple gems are fused together for too long, they can slowly lose their individuality. Sugilite can be seen as a metaphor for brains over bronze, as she was defeated by Pearl despite being much stronger due to the mere fact that Pearl's quick thinking and decision-making during their battle was superior to hers. Sugilite seems to have a Sugilite stones as fingernails facted. oh my god. Fasciated? Facete? I have no idea how to say this word. I am so sorry, guys. And it's like faced head, and I'm like, I know that's not it, but that's what my brain sees.
Future Phoebe here. Future Phoebe. It's faceted. I literally just discovered that right now. And I'm high. Anyways, back to the video.
Faceted? Fasciated? Faceted? I don't know. And my whole thing just refreshed on me. Isn't that just lovely? No, actually, it like, low-key just, like, whatever. I gotta get back over to where I was thinking. In different shapes. Okay, so her nails are factoted into different shapes, and the index is shaped like a star, while the rest appear to be square. Sugilite was the first fusion whose full transformation was seen on screen. She did not want to defuse so soon in Coach Steven, but in Cry for Help she seemed to have diffused easily. This may be because in Cry for Help she was not fused for a very long time. Sugilite has 2 songs that refer to her, the first being Strong in the Real Way, second is Tower of Mistakes. Despite looking identical, Sugilite has slightly darker skin than Amethyst. Sugilite appears to have a more stable fusion in Cry for Help than she does in Coach Steven, only fusing to destroy the communication hub, presumably defusing immediately after. Sugilite is the first and only fusion to have 5 eyes. Sugilite is the first and only known fusion whose gemstones have switched locations between her generations. However, none of Ruby and Sapphire's known fusions with other gems have had their gemstones relocated, so this makes Sugilite the only fusion Ruby and Sapphire with other gemstones to have their gemstones on lower palms. However, this would suit her current regeneration, as Ruby and Sapphire's gemstones are located with their wedding rings, unlike their other fusions with other gems, excluding Obsidian, who completely lacks their rings. Sugilite is mentioned in Know Your Fusion as part of a strength game Sardonyx had Smoky Quartz play. Sugilite's voice actor, Blank, was also indirectly mentioned when Sardonyx said she was being paid even though she had not recorded any new lines for the episode despite being heard. And then cultural references. Sugilite is based on an Oni, which is a Japanese demon due to the gemstone being first discovered in Japan by Professor Kenichi Sugi. She also strongly resembles the Hindu goddess of destruction, Kali. Kali is often portrayed with 4 arms and a very destructive nature. Sugilite's long and somewhat wild dark hair also resembles the common portrayal of Kali. While Kali is often described as violent, she is still usually seen as the destroyer of evil. Some legends even show her with a caring maternal side, as she is the goddess of creation too. This also matches with Sugilite's care for Steven. The storyboard animatic for Garnet and Amethyst Fusion stance for Sugilite uses the song Freak by Estelle as placeholder music. The fight between Pearl and Sugilite is very similar to the term underdog, connecting with the fight between David and Goliath when David outsmarted the Goliath, who was stronger. This can also be represented in the song of the episode, Strong in the Real Way, as it heavily implies that Pearl values intelligence over brute force. In Cry for Help, her tower-smashing punch was inspired by the Twister Sock Punch from Popeye and Donkey Kong's Giant Punch from the Super Smash Bros. Series. Sugilite's Tornado Fire Punch move from Save the Light has similarities to this ability. Her Tower Smashing Punch possesses a fiery aura when the punch is initiated, and her Tornado Fire Punch can inflict burn effect, which most likely means these abilities stem from Ruby's pyrokinetic abilities. Sugilite is associated with the resolution of existential problems, self-awareness, incarnation, and identity, which can be the reason for her reluctance to unfuse and fuse again. And it's safe to say that's it, guys. I think this is the shortest episode of the series. I would probably correct myself if I'm wrong. But yeah, that was my Sugilite redesign. Probably not going to see like the rest of the video, whatever, unfortunately, because I do tend to cut it sometimes. I don't speed it up more because, quite frankly, you wouldn't see much anyways if I sped it up even more. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, maybe subscribe, do all that good stuff. My VGen is in the description. You can go ahead and follow it, please, and thank you. The rest of my social media will be down in the description as well. My link tree is also there, and I am a partner with the Poggers shop. And what else? I have merch in my store for lesbians. So lesbians, if you want to check that out. And listen to Lethal by Rico Nasty. That's my piece of advice for the day. I love you all, and I will see you all back at the slaughterhouse whenever you decide to come back. I love you all. Bye.